Everyone, welcome to Confidence Leads to Success. In this episode, I have inspiring Wani Iris Manley with us. I had the pleasure of meeting her and heard her incredible story, how she simply imagined what she wanted to create and made a bold move towards her dream and followed her heart with confidence and courage. Her story was truly inspiring, and it reminded me to realize the power of believing in ourselves and our abilities actually creates the life we want. And her journey is like a reminder to us all what potential we are holding. She is a TEDx speaker, an award-winning speaker, a business and IP lawyer, and a best-selling author. As the founder of House of Inspirational Business, a Paris-based consultancy firm, Wani empowers coaches, online businesses, and entrepreneurs to legally protect their ventures. With nearly 2 decades of international business and corporate law experience, including working with esteemed companies like MasterCard, Visa, and Office Depot, she brings invaluable expertise to the table, and I am so honored to have her here. Honey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's so good to have you here. Your move from Miami to Paris is incredibly inspiring, and how you guided purely by universal signs. To me, it showcases your fearless approach to life. Can you share with us the pivotal moments or experiences that led you to take such a daring leap?
Gosh, for me, what really happened on New Year's Eve in 2010, I woke up and I had plans to go and party with my friends in Miami like we always do. And I just abruptly made a decision to actually stay at home and not go out. It was not planned at all. And I decided to actually look at my life at the time because I had had a horrible year. I came out of a relationship where I was in love for the very first time. I was also, a brand new entrepreneur. About 2 years in with my brand new law firm. And so I just basically put pen to paper and I started looking at the things that what went right that year. I wrote those down. Then I wrote down all the things that actually went wrong or that I failed at. And that list was much longer than the first one. And I essentially took full responsibility. I went through every single one of them and I was like, okay, Wani, what happened? What went wrong? And the short end of it was that basically I was in love for the very first time, and my whole attention was actually on a relationship and not really focused on business. And then I also began the spiritual path around that time as well too. And I knew that, or I had realized that what was being created from about myself. So I basically started writing on every single limited belief that I have about myself. And literally I pray the most reverent prayer to God on my hands and knees and just asking the universe, God, to help me to release them. And then like the next part of the day, I got another journal. Like I always get a brand new journal the day before the new year, and they had the word imagine on it. And I just began to write ferociously. I was writing so out there, so outrageous. I always say like, I feel like I was writing what Elon Musk must think like, because it was so expansive. I wasn't thinking about the how. And then I was like visualizing it. And then I was Sanskrit mantras. And then when midnight came, I took one glass of champagne. I passed out because I was so tired, because I had been doing this process since 6 o'clock that morning. I wake up quite early. And then literally, my desire or my pull was so strong. Like nothing in my journal said that I wanted to leave Miami, but I was yearning for a change. I wanted just like a different aspect of my life. And it was like, what was actually planned. And 3 days later, I started getting all of these signs about Paris, France, French culture, French this. And it was so bizarre because my family is not from a Francophone African country. I had no desire or no connection to France. I wasn't your typical like obsessed American that's just like, oh my God, Paris. I didn't really care. For me, my European utopia was actually Italy. And so for an entire year, I just kept getting all of these signs about Paris. And so finally my heart just spoke to me and said, move. And I sold my loft, I sold my car, I gave all my things to different charities. I only kept my spiritual books in my house, and I came not knowing anyone, not knowing one word of French, and just completely trusting that are pulling me to come here would all just present itself, and I just trust, I trust the universe. I trust God implicitly. I really believe that there's something else that's guiding this thing we call life, and I just trust that, and I just follow it with confidence. Did I wobble? Absolutely. You know what I mean? That I would not be here talking with you today had I not made that decision. And everything else has come through from that, from the TEDx, from being in a movie documentary, from, starting a speaking career. It's crazy, insane, like insane good.
It is so inspiring. I'm sure all the listeners are just like putting the volume up as you speak because it is so inspiring. I know so many people are wanting to do what you have just explained to us. It is so inspiring and courageous of you to just believe, like, I believe in believing in yourself, but you are proving living example of how you manifested the life you wanted, and you took a chance on you, and you just, I love it. I've heard this story before from you, and I've listened to it again with all the amazement and admiration to you. And I am so excited that you're sharing it with our listeners, because there are so many women feel trapped in their environment, in their job, in their city, in their marriage. They cannot move forward thinking they're not going to be able to do it. But what you have done, you just thought, I believe in God, I believe in myself, I believe the process, and I'm just going to go for it. And it would be really helpful if you could just share a bit of your, like you already tapped into it, like you have wobbled, you have had issues, but what was that driving force that made you keep on going, even though you face difficulties?
For me, I have to say, I think what was really propelling me, number one, was that this was not coming from my ego. Like, I just had no radar, right? However, I was yearning for a change, right? And I always think your actual wanting in your life is not going to come the way in which you actually want it, right? And you just have to trust. I always say too that, this is not a dress rehearsal. Like, this is it, whether you believe in reincarnation, past lives, that the bottom line is like, you're remembering like this particular lifetime right now. So it's like, you have to go where you came from. You can always go back to your crappy life, to your crappy job. I could always go. Miami is not going anywhere. In fact, I was there, a month ago, you know what I mean, to visit like my friends. And so it's like, you can always go back, but you just have to go. And I always feel like whenever you do, you take some bold move. This is what I have to discover. Like, when you take bold moves with your life, the universe steps in to help you big time. I had tremendous support from people that just I didn't know. Like, I remember, like, one of the biggest problems I was having when I left Miami was I didn't realize it was very difficult to find an apartment here in Paris. In the US, is throw a rock, you hit an apartment. It's just so easy. And so getting a job for most people, if you adapt to that mindset, right? But there was a time where I was just kind of like always looking for an apartment. And I remember meeting someone online, and she had actually done a similar, going to her brother's graduation in Morocco. She was like, 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It was like those little miracles that said, Tina Turner just died. I didn't quite know her whole story, but when she left her husband, Ike Turner, with 36 cents in the middle of the night, and and a mobile gas card, she went and begged the hotel room, and they gave her a room. And it's like the universe is not going to just like leave you out to hang and dry. You know what I mean? And so, yes, for you to get to your great pinnacle, like I've gotten now to where I've created this incredible life and business in here, but it's like, I had to face all of my fears, and face that test of, am I not going to be supported? Is the universe, is everyone not my family? And, and those type of situations right there. But it's just, you just have to go for it. You have to bet on yourself. Like, who else is going to do it for you?
I love that.
Period.
I love it. It's what happens is that, like, what the confidence, everybody would believe that confidence is something that comes to you naturally, and you feel that you know everything is laid out for you, your flat was hired, already furnished when you arrive there. But confidence is me saying, I don't have it all laid out for me, but I have the abilities to lay it out for myself. I think you've got to have the fear, but go for it. That if you're not scared enough, it's not really giving you what you want. What I hear from you is like the scare, like scarcity, fear. These are the emotions every human being have in each day. But what you choose to see and feel and allow to control your emotions and your mind, what made the difference in your life, and it is incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, and I think too, when it comes to confidence, is that confidence I also feel really comes from believing in there's something else greater than you. Because if you're only relying upon your mind, your the human being, you're not going to be confident because you can't see you can't figure it out all along. You don't know how the big steps are, right?
Yeah.
You just rely upon yourself. You're gonna be afraid. You're just like, because you're not gonna see the whole way, right? And so if you're just believing in, like, I mean, there's a whole galaxy out there. We would be ignorant to believe that there isn't something else that's actually, like, guiding, whatever you want to call it. So, if you can just actually be able to tap into that, and just to say, okay, even if you don't even want it, because I know it's very tricky with God, spirit, religion, but just to tap into vitality, to tap into new energy, to say, okay, I want new energy for my life. I want a different calling. You can just ask, like, what is the calling for my life? Like, what is the purpose? And life will start to rearrange itself to actually, like, pull you into that. And within that, you can actually find the confidence to go through change or whatever you actually are looking to, accomplish. But you're gonna have to take some bold moves. It's not gonna be like all, you have to just jump in, jump into the
Well,
fire,
your book, which is the best-selling book, Get Out of Survival Mode and Live the Life You Really Want, is this a book that would actually inspire the readers to break through these limitations?
Absolutely, because it literally looks at all. So, we're all are basically living our programming, right? And so, and first of all, our minds are actually programmed to keep us in survival, but it's not built to keep us, like, in a space of thriving, right? And then when we come into this life, and then we're, like, conditioned by our parents, like what they want. Like, my parents were African. For in African culture, you're encouraged to pursue, like, the arts. Okay, it's be a doctor, be a lawyer, or be a politician. You know what I mean? It's like take on a profession that actually makes you money. And so and when you start to find, like, when you start really, like, following all that conditioning, right? You realize it just sets you into a trap of living in survival mode, right? And a lot of times people think that, it's associated with actually, like, not having enough money. That's part of it, but you can also be a millionaire income level, or even from a mental health perspective, right?
Yeah,
If you're relying
true.
upon mood pills, or to take, or psychedelics every day to change your mood or to get throughout the day, that's living in survival mode as well too. So what that book points out to you is just essentially showing you we're programmed to be living in survival, and actually how to get out of it.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Honestly, I just listened to you. I could listen to you for hours.
I can talk for hours too, trust me.
I love that. I'd love you to just share perhaps like some insights or strategies for our listeners to just shift from that survival mode to living a more like purpose, with more purpose and fulfillment. What would that be?
Okay. It would be, what's really separating you from living in survival mode to actually into a thriving mode is actually change, right? And so one of the things that keeps us stuck in living in the same rut day in and day out is that we are afraid of the discomfort that actually change naturally elicits, right? Because it's brand new. And so what I want to is this belief, or just to think about it, is that the discomfort you feel from actually stepping into something very new to get you out of survival mode is only temporary. However, you're in that situation where you live in the same reality over and over and over again, and the feelings you actually have from that, that's permanent. So the strategy I was for you is that every day you have to start training yourself to be in this energy of change, like doing something different, right? Taking a new route to work, or like, or just creating brand new routines, which just really begin to program your physiology to be able to step into taking something completely new. Because what you'll find is, like, inch by inch or little by little, you'll start like getting out of that rut, and you'll find yourself like you'll begin to open like different neural pathways into your brain to where different ideas can actually come in, and you can actually find the confidence within yourself to actually like take a different step and take one. But you really have to start to see what you're keeping yourself in, really how crappy it is. And really like how that living that day after day, month after month, we're almost like halfway through the year. If most people's lives looks exactly the same like it did in 2022, because they're doing the same things over and over again, because they're sitting in fear. They don't want to change. You have
How do you
to.
expect the change? Yeah, how do you expect to change if you keep doing the same thing every day?
Yeah. Feeling the same emotions, doing the exact same things is like, and we're so stubborn to it. And it's just because we're just afraid of anything feeling and being and looking different. And don't get me wrong, I go through it myself as well too, but I just have to be like, okay, nope, I want this better. I want this what I'm actually aiming for, and I'm willing to feel through the discomfort. And just power through it. And it's only temporary. It's literally only temporary.
I love your strap line that you always say, that the sky is not the limit, it is the viewpoint. And I love that.
Yeah, for me, I'm a Pisces. I don't know if you follow astrology, so I'm the dreamer. Like as a lawyer, I like, and I work with businesses, so it's always the CEO and above level. And so for me, that's the vantage point that I always look at life, like, meaning like you can have anything. Like, why would you limit yourself to living in one house? Why would you limit yourself to having like one career your entire life? You know what I mean? It's like, have it all, especially like those of us, we were so lucky to be living in Europe, to be living in the United States. Like, if you're watching this on a Wi-Fi right now, you're seriously, you're part of the 1%, because it's like you have it in your hands. You can run a whole business from an iPhone right now. I mean, really, you can for free. You don't even need to have any capital to start a business. If you're coming from Western Europe, or you know what I mean, and it's just like it's all available to us. But it's like we've got to expand the viewpoint which we actually are looking at, because like the entire world really is our oyster, and it's not a cliche. It really is the truth.
Amazing. Vani, I cannot thank you enough for your time in your busy schedule. Honestly, ladies, this woman is so busy. I feel a sense of privilege to have you. And thank you for sharing your wisdom, your insight, your expertise, and your journey to inspire me for sure, and everybody who's listening. Thank you.
I know everyone's time and attention is quite valuable. And so I really feel like anyone who takes the time out to listen to anything that I have to say on any platform, I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for having me on to be part of your summit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wani. Well, everyone, I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to leave you with a question to see, when was the last time you stopped and acknowledged how far you've come, and where do you imagine yourself being? So keep dreaming and keep working on your life, and because you can create what you dream. Thank you, everyone. I will see you on the next episode.